Michael Irvin yesterday on First Take.
No doubt in my mind that team that I saw said we are the best team in the National Football League. We ain't got to talk about how y'all went all after Dak last week. Everybody went after Dak. Dak got to stand up and show he a man. He has to lead this team right now. He has to show he can beat this team. And you said it because you had no faith that he could do it. But Dak has always been a great overcomer, and he's always over-deliver. It's one thing to be an overcomer. That means you get over things. But when you overcome and over-deliver, that's a whole nother statement.
It's a new great part either time.
They're in the next studio. Michael hasn't stopped. Yeah. Marcus, but I'm going to give you one on that before I get to the top of the NFC, because I had a lot of Dak slander on this set last week from a lot of different places.
Oh, my God.
I want the same energy today on how well Dak played. Your thoughts, Swagoo?
It was phenomenal, G. And last week I had to pull my sword and shield out and protect Rain Dakota from it being his fault and being the weak link on the Dallas Cowboy team. Listen, man, this is what it really boils down to. That type of football from Dak Prescott, but as a team in totality, is why the Dallas Cowboys will have an opportunity when they get in the playoffs to win a game and try to advance and go further. There is no mistake about it. Like, the Dallas Cowboys are a running football team. That is what they do to unlock everything else they do from an offensive standpoint. But when Ford is on point like he was against Minnesota, when he's using his legs like he looked hesitant to do against the Green Bay Packers, when you're asking him to just get the ball in playmakers' hands, Kellen Moore not diverting back to dropping him back a million times in the game and telling him to go win it, this is what this team can actually be. Now, I don't know what the hell Minnesota was thinking, dropping back and throwing the ball with Kirk Cousins a million times. But outside of that, Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys in that mode in which we saw them against the Minnesota Vikings will be difficult to beat against any team in the NFL. Am I calling them the favorites? No, that's still Philly to me. But ultimately, if you get that team and you get them in the tournament, they will have an opportunity to go as deep as any other team in the tournament.
Well, as you see on the screen, you may not be calling them the favorites, but our analytics do. Our analytics, despite the fact that the Eagles have, for all intents and purposes, a 2.5-game divisional lead, they still like, our FPI still likes the Cowboys as the best team in the NFC. So if we accept as a given that right now it feels like 3 teams in the NFC are playing the best, with all due respect to Minnesota and Seattle and even maybe Tampa Bay. Right now, Philadelphia, Dallas, and San Francisco, and they, as you see, are on top of the odds right now. Those feel like the 3 teams in the NFC. Of those 3, Neek, which one are you betting the palatial estate in D.C. on to wind up in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Eagles. I love my man, the playmaker Michael Irvin, and I love Dak Prescott and what they're doing, but I think the depth of the Eagles is what's going to prevail. We're around the midway point of the season. We've had some injuries. There will be more, and I think that's what's going to help this team stay atop the NFC and win. But I do think that though Dak is an overachiever and an overcomer, that the hate on Dak Prescott was overzealous, and you guys was overzealous in your hate on the overachiever that is Dak Prescott. I miss it.
You gotta get, I like that. You gotta do the move. You gotta do the patented Michael Irvin move. I'm with you. Okay, so that's 1 vote for Philadelphia. It sounds like the Marcus is giving us a vote for Philadelphia. And Mike T, you're voting for Dallas?
Yeah, Jerry Jones made a little room on his yacht. I'm on the bandwagon, and I'm not getting off. And look, when Dak Prescott plays, they lead the league in points scored. And I think we minimize that because we talk so much about Micah Parsons and that great defense. They can score a lot of points, and when you look at it on paper, that doesn't make a lot of sense, and that shows you how good Dak's playing.
That's the formula, right?
Guys, can I have a truth moment?
Let them rush the passer. Go ahead, Marcus.
Can I have a truth moment? My biggest concern for the Dallas Cowboys is Kellen Moore. My concern ain't Dak Prescott. My concern ain't what they have as a team talent-wise. They are talented enough to go to the Super Bowl. They talented enough to make a deep playoff run. My biggest question is the offensive coordinator and whether he gonna get cute or not. Because the last 2 years, we've seen him get cute. And it has cost them opportunities in games, I think, to either change the outcome or change the way the game has been played. We have to look no further than 2 weeks ago. Kellen Moore ran the ball 6 times with a 14-point lead against the Green Bay Packers. This week, he decided to hand it off to Tony Pollard and Zeke and get them guys the ball in advantageous situations. Who are you going to be, Kellen Moore? Because I think the fate of the Dallas Cowboys lies in your play call sheet. That's the hard, honest truth for me going forward.
Right. One man's getting cute. There's another man's getting pass happy, and that's what you don't want them to be. Final vote, Graziano.
I still vote the Eagles. Look at the lead, right? They're up 2 games on Dallas in the division. They beat them head-to-head. They just added 2 stud veteran defensive tackles last week. I mean, they're getting better. They'll get Dallas Goedert back in a few weeks. I think they have the edge. They have one more game, though. That Dallas-Philly game later in the season, hugely consequential game.
It's Christmas Eve,
If
and the
Dallas
Cowboys
get
have
OBJ,
4.
I'm changing.
OBJ and the Cowboys have 4 very winnable games between now and Christmas Eve when the Eagles have to come into Arlington. We will see. Okay, you know what they might need in that game? They might need a little extra security. Let's roll it.
Let's do it.
I know some people in this league need security. Everybody ain't getting dumped around here. This long arm of the law, he needs a new security guard. They better find somebody quick. Athleticism is a trait of being a security guard. And when you don't have none, you get your quarterback killed by a little guy. Like when the big dude run up on one of the little dudes and then you find out he a damn MMA fighter and you get beat to sleep. You need new security.
Oh, yes, it is time for Swagoo's revenge as you've got the quarterbacks who desperately need new security. Take it, big fella.
Let's get it popping, man. First and foremost, G, you know where the hell I'm going. I'm going to that star on the side of your helmet and my man Michael Parsons. The early in this game, I don't know what Kevin O'Connell was thinking for the majority of the game. But Kirk Cousins, you needed new security. And you knew damn well 11 was going to come out there with his hair on fire trying to kill everything moving. That's what Michael Parsons did. Kirk Cousins, you needed new security, and your offensive lineman and your head coach didn't believe you did. Oh, well, moving on to next week. 40-3. Let's get it. Next, I'm going to Derwin James. Y'all,
See, if I were to say to you, Mike T, the top of the NFC, Jalen Hurts and the Eagles are going to the Super Bowl. You believe it or not?
I don't believe it. I think they'll be home watching the Super Bowl like we are when the Dallas Cowboys are playing in it.
You think the Cowboys better? You have stayed on that all season long. I will give Tannenbaum credit. In the preseason, when the whole world flipped over to Philadelphia, you stayed on the Dallas bandwagon. And do you know who else has remained loyal to all of that? And this perhaps should not come as a surprise. A fellow by the name of the playmaker.
y'all see this? This is actually a safety, okay, going in on a blitz against a linebacker. And son, I baptize you in the name of the Lord so I can get to the quarterback. You need new security. And I don't know who, but my man Pacheco is tough. He runs physical. But this right here probably ain't what you need to do with him, Andy Reid, when you're playing Derwin James. Pat Mahomes, I never thought I'd say this because you are so good at football. But against number 3, you need new security. Derwin James, good job, man. Baptism will be at next Sunday service. Carl Lawson from the New York Jets. I know Zach Wilson said he didn't feel like he had any responsibility, but you had responsibility for Mac Jones needing new security. I lay you down to your family softly on a pillow to go get your quarterback, sir. Bill Belichick was even on the sideline saying, damn, Mac needs new security. This is what you do when you're trying to get a win, holding the team to 3 points. And yeah, I know special teams gave it up, but Carl Lawson, you made sure Mac Jones needed new security. And y'all, speaking of security, I got a bonus this week because apparently at this stadium, you don't need new security because security is doing their damn job. They are knocking people silly on the sideline for trying to invade this precious territory of what we call the football field. Hey, sir, that is holy ground that you trying to play on. Look at this security going, drop his shoulder.
Blue shirt, get some too, blue shirt.
No, this is not a penalty. This is not the head neck area. This is about get your ass off this field because we're trying to put on the net. They did not need new security. Security came through, laid them down, and look at the other 2. We must corral and we must remove this man from the stadium because we will never be on Swagoo's segment on Get Up saying we need new security. Everybody keeping their job for this security team. That's
How about
been
it,
unique
Nate?
new security for this week, and it was damn good.
I feel like that security guard, he been waiting his whole security career to get that opportunity. He's like, I wish he would.
Flight.
I wish somebody
Top
would
flight.
come out, top flight security in the world. I'm going to dive into you. Just, yeah.
And it was a clean hit. It wasn't targeting, and he hit him in bounds. Like he
It was
didn't wait until the
wonderful.
guy veered out
It
of
was
bounds. It was a
wonderful.
clean
Yeah.
flag. No flag, a completely clean hit. All right, well done. As we continue, everyone in his division, you need a wake-up call this morning. Here's one from our John Sutcliffe from ESPN Deportes, kicking off last night's game in Mexico City. Give a listen.
Buenas noches, México. John Sutcliffe.
Ay, viva mi amigo, John Sutcliffe. Awesome to start it last night. And then the Niners were equally awesome. They absolutely lived up to John's introduction. They've won 3 straight. They're 6-4. They're 3-1 since they got Christian McCaffrey. They're scoring a lot more points per game. The Niners look like they could be a Super Bowl contender. Speaking of which, let's play a game called Believe It or Not. Hey, Marcus Spears, if I said Patrick Mahomes is going to win the MVP award, believe it or not?
Believe it, G, and it's no reason not to believe it. We saw what Pat did against the Los Angeles Chargers late in game. Those are the moments that actually win you the MVP. We knew he would have the stats this year. We knew that he would have this offense rolling at some point like they did last year. But those moments against the Los Angeles Chargers, when you got to go and have it, and you're able to deliver like we've seen him do so many times, that'll be the difference in his MVP trophy this year.
Right now, he is the clear favorite. Neek, if I said the Dolphins are the biggest threat to Kansas City in the AFC, you believe it or not?
I'm going to say I still stick with the Bills. I know right now the Dolphins are probably playing better than the Bills at this particular moment, but it's a long season, and we see the way teams change and teams having playoff experience. We've seen the Bills play really well in Kansas City. Dolphins certainly are capable of doing it, but if there is one team to look at, it's the Bills to me.
All right, so that's the top of the AFC.